Yeah, here's another one of my shaky videos. This gramophone here is the cabinet grand that I've done. It was a real mess when I had it. The case had come unglued, the lid had come unglued in one of the corners, and the top was lifting. It actually got damp, so the lid had to be restuck, repinned. I had to nail this top lip back on, and unfortunately the nails went through the case in two places, so I had to pull them out and re-put them in. I was really quite annoyed. Lucky I filled it, but because I put a darker coating on it, that's not going to show. I got a nail showing by the motorboard it, but that's not really visible. This one is a HMV 103 from 1928. My dad was born in 1928, so this was made when he was born. And it's actually quite loud. I completely stripped the motor right down, re-greased it, re-oiled the governor pad. I haven't rebuilt the sound box. It's working, but it's not going to hurt to replace the gasket, and the rubber mounting is solid, but because it's I'm playing it on soft needles, it seems to be playing reasonably well, but I will redo that at some point. Anyway, what I'm going to do is give it a wind and give a demonstration. On this one you can play a complete 12-inch. It has only a single sprung motor. I think it only runs for about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I've timed it, so it won't play two sides of a 10-inch. But what you would do if you put, say, half a dozen turns into the handle when you change the record over, it will play two 10s. Now, I was the first one to take the drum apart. I had a job to get the screws out, the 4 screws that hold it, and it's the original spring. Whether I can get a slightly longer spring, or whether it's just the way it was. It's an early style motor. It doesn't even have a number on it, so I thought, well, how the hell am I going to get a spring if I don't know the number? Anyway, what I'm going to do is put the record on. This is Dance on the Ceiling by the Blue Jays. So this is obviously those the radio ones were made about 1928 and 1932, so it'll certainly be about that. Don't forget to blunt the needles. Quite noisy. My records are quite warm.
I try to hide in vain, underneath my counterpane, there's my love up above.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. It's quite a nice record, that. They're Edison Radio. I've got the very first edition of those. I got probably nearly 100 of those, and I'm still buying. I love those Edison records. They actually play, even when they're quite worn, they still work. I've got some Eclipse ones that are not very good, and I've got some broadcast ones that are quite noisy, but I got some of these that look really rough and they still play okay. What I've found is that you've got to change the needle every playing. A lot of people said, well, I won't bother, I'll just change them every record instead, which is quite a common thing people did. And of course it wore the surface of the record down, you can't help it. The idea is the needles are coated, they're steel needles. They're coated in nickel or tungsten, and they're designed to wear the shape of the groove. But the idea is that that nickel or tungsten doesn't wear completely to the steel when it's playing, but they're designed to play one single side of a 12-inch, which is 1.5 10 inches. So it's one needle per side. Don't play one needle per record. You'll find that the ends of the record will start to go white as the needle chews the record away, and that's not very clever. One thing I have bought on eBay, and there was a lady, it was in 1945, she developed a metal needle that was a stylus. Her last name was Killock, Mary Killock, I can't remember if that was her name. And she was an audio sound engineer, she was a lady, and she designed a steel needle that had a sapphire tip. They're quite rare. I've actually bought 2 brand new ones still sealed on eBay for £9. I think you can play 500 sides on them, maybe 1,000. I'd have to have a look, and I bought 2. And I'm going to use the very fine wires, which I use here. They're the soft. And when I can't get those anymore, I will go over to using those styluses. What I'm hoping to do, I'm not sure, I'm thinking of keeping one of the wind-up ones and actually getting a very early electric gramophone that uses that needle type pickup. That's what I'm thinking. If any necessary, I'll buy the arm, the motor, and I'll actually build my own. I've been thinking of doing that, building my own 78 only record player without a radio, but something with a reasonable amplifier and a nice Bakelite tone arm and nice fittings. But anyway, that's a demonstration of the HMV, and there's a little label in the lid which you won't see, I don't think. Yeah, it's in the top there. It's out of focus, unfortunately. It says F.W. Allen, Lower Arcade, Bristol. So this one came from my hometown of Bristol, and that's a demonstration of that one. And it has a HMV number 4 sound box, and this one is the one that has the brass back. Some of these are made of pot metal, what they call pot metal, and they basically crumble and they rot, and they're not particularly good, and then they fracture. You can buy from John Sleep Gramophones brass backs for them. He had some new ones made, but those sound boxes with the brass backs sell for about quite a bit of money on eBay, because everybody wants the 4 with the especially if it's been re-gasketed and new diaphragm or new rubbers, you know, they go for about 80, 90 pounds, some of them. And they want 50, 60 pound for a non-restored one. To me, the HMV numbers 4 and the 5A sound box were about the best ones. If you want anything better, you've got to go for an EMG sound box. You'll pay a lot of money for that. This metal piece on here that holds the needle, it's called a sound box. When I first started repairing gramophones, I said to somebody that the sound head had gone. Oh, he said, that's called the sound box. And I thought, oh, neither does it look like a box, neither can you put anything in it. But that's it. Anyway, bye-bye and thank you, and hope you enjoyed this video of a 1928 HMV 103, I think it is.